Okay, so welcome to today's concept on number basis. And today we are looking at multiplication of number basis. We have already tackled addition and subtraction of number basis. So today's lesson we are going to look at how we can multiply numerals and apply the given base. Okay. Yes, so how we did the addition, we are going to do the same here. The principle we use in the addition, we use the remainder principle. Yes, and that is what we are going to use here. As I said, there are other principles or methods that can also be used, but um, we shall employ the use of remainder principle, and that is done already in the previous lesson in addition of number bases. Okay, so as I said, the addition and the multiplication, yes, the same principle applies. The only difference is that in the addition we add, but here we are multiplying. That's the only difference. Other than that, uh, there will be a different way of doing that. Okay, all right. So um we will not waste time. As previously I said that in doing the addition, it is not like the normal way we add. When you are asked to add, you just add and write your answer and go away. No, in number basis, after adding you need to apply what the base given. The same thing applies here. After multiplying, you don't just write your answer and go away. No. After multiplying, then you apply what the base given. And that is what we are going to do now. So we shall take our first example and look at how we can do the multiplication and use the remainder principle. Okay, so let's take this example. All right, so let's do it this way. 3, 2, 1, 4, base 5, multiplying 3 base 5. So this is the multiplication we are going to do. Good. So let's multiply first. Now we know that 3 times 4 gives us what? 12. Good. So that is the answer we have gotten. If it were to be the normal way we do multiplication, after getting the 12, we just write what? The 2. Okay, you just write the 2 and keep the 1 as a remainder, multiply and add the rest. But here you don't just do it like that. The same as the addition. The addition you just add. After that you apply the base. The same applies here. So in this case, after multiplying, you need to apply the base. And how do you apply the base? By using the remainder theorem or the remainder principle. What you do is you divide the answer you have gotten by the base. Have you gotten that? After multiplying, just multiply. So 3 times 4 gives you 12. After getting your 12, what you do is you divide it by the base, which is base 5. So we know that 5 divides 12 how many times? 2. Remainder what? Yes, remainder 2. Have you gotten that? So it means that 5 divides 12, 2, remainder 2. So the remainder is what you write as your answer. Then you carry these 2. Okay, you keep the 2, you multiply again, then the answer you get, you add the 2, then you apply what? The base again. So here what you do is 3 times 1 will give me what? 3. Then plus these 2 that you kept, which will give me what? 5. After getting the 5, then you apply the base again. So you divide it by the 5, and 5 divides 5 how many times? 1. Remainder what? 0. So the 0 you have gotten, you write this 0 and keep this 1. So you see how I'm doing that. That's what we call the remainder principle. Okay, you divide, you write the remainder as your answer, keep the actual value you got, and add it to the next value you get. Okay, so we are keeping 1. Now let's multiply 3 by 2. 3 times 2 gives us what? 6. Remember, we have kept 1, so you add the 1, which is okay, and that gives you what? 7. Then after getting the 7, you divide it by the base given, which is 5. So 5 divides 7 how many times? 1. Remainder 2. So the 2 I have gotten, that is what I'm going to write here. Okay, cool. Then I'll keep my 1 again. Okay, so multiply 3 by 3, you get what? 9. 9 plus the 1 you kept, which will give me 10. Then you divide it by what? 5. That's the base. So 10 divided by 5 gives me what? 2. Remainder what? 0. So the 0 as your remainder is what you do, what you write. Then you keep the 2. If you still have another to multiply, then you multiply and add the 2. But since we don't have any number again to multiply, then we write these 2 here. So it means that this becomes our answer in base 5. So that is how we do the multiplication. Okay, it's the same as how we do the addition. The addition, you add, apply the base, whatever you get, write the remainder, keep the answer you got, add again, then you add it. Have you gotten that? So this one is very simple. You don't need to waste time on that. Now let's take one more example and see how we can do that. Okay, so let's look at the example 2. So in example 2, we have to find the product of 1530 base 6 and 104 base 6. Yes, so always remember that the numbers you are going to multiply should be less than the base. Okay, should be less or equal to the base. If it is not less than the base, if any of the numbers here are greater than the 6, the base, then that question is what? It's not correct. Okay, so you realize that this is 1530, all are less than what? The base. Okay, yes. So and you know that when we say find the product also means you need to multiply them. It means you are going to multiply this by that. So let's write it in this form. So I'll write my 1 5 3 0 and then base 6. Then I have this one here, 1 0 4 6. I'm going to multiply. Great. Now, based on the example we did in the example 1, we are going to apply the same here. Now, if you are applying the same here, then we multiply 4 by 0. 4 by 0 gives us what? 0. We know that 4 times 0 is what? 0. What about 4 times 3? 4 times 3 gives us what? 12. Okay, 12. Now 12 divided by the base, that's what we have gotten, which is 6. So 6 divides 12 how many times? 2. Remember what? 0. So I will write my 0 here and keep the 2. 4 times 5 will give me what? 20. 20 plus 2 will give me 22. So 22 divided by the base, which is 6. Okay, 22 divided by 6 gives me, so it means that 6 divides 22 how many times? Yes, that is what we are talking about. So we are going to get what? 3, remainder what? 4. So I'm going to write the 4 here and keep my 3. Now 4 times 1 gives me what? 4 plus 3, which is 7. So 7 divided by 6 will give me what? 1, remainder 1. So I'll write this 1 here. Do I still have to multiply? No. So I will also write this 1 here. Have you gotten that? Good. So I'm done with 4. Now I need to do for 0 as well. So 0 times 0 gives me what? 0. Now I'm writing it under this 0 because it should follow what? The same column. Okay, 0 times 3 gives me what? 0. 0 times 5 gives me what? 0. 0 times 1 gives me what? 0. So I'm done with 0. Now I'm going to take 1. 1 times 0 gives me what? 0. 1 times 3 gives me what? 3. 1 times 5 gives me what? 5. And 1 times 1 gives me 1. So you see how I've arranged the thing. We know all this is the same way you did in your basic school class 5, class 6, class 4 when you are asked to multiply these things. That is how you do it. After that, what you are going to do, you are going to add them. Okay, so let's add this. Here will be what? 0. This will be 0. 4 plus 0 plus this will be 4. Now 4 is less than 6, so we'll still keep the 4. 1 plus 3 gives me 4. Then 1 plus 0 plus what? 3 gives me 6. So you realize that the 6 and the 6 are the same. So 6 can divide 6. How many times? 1. 1, remainder 0. So when 6 divides 6, 1, remainder 0. So I'm going to write my 0 here and keep the 1. Then here, what do we have here? We don't have anything here. So I was supposed to write this 1 here. But remember, I kept 1. So I will add a 1 to this 1 to make what? 2. Then I'll write it here. And now this becomes my answer. Have you gotten that? So you see the multiplication also very simple. So when you have such example, you don't need to waste your time on that. Okay, now let's take one last example on this, then we can move on to the next topic in our next video. All right, okay. So for example 3, we have 5, 11, 10, 10 base what? 12. No, remember in our previous lesson I told you that when you see this E here and the T here, so the E represent what? 11, and the T also represent what? 10. Yes, because we can't write it like figures like this, because if you write it this 11, if you write it like this, someone may think that it is 511, not 511. Okay, and if you write a 10 also like this, someone may also think it is what? 10. So in order not to confuse you or to make the whole thing right, that's why we use letters to represent what? E and what? T. We use what? E and T to represent 11 and 10 respectively. Okay, good. So whenever you are dealing with what number bases and you see this letter E and this T, know that we are referring to what? 11 and 10. Okay, great. So and we are to multiply by 2 in base what? 12 in base 12. So let's quickly do that. Now we have 5 E T base 12 multiplying what? 2 base 12. So times. Great. So let's proceed now. 2 times what? 10. So this, you take this as 10. So 2 times 10 gives me what? 20. So you have 20, then you divide it by the base. Okay, so 20 divided by 12, how many times? We are getting 1, remainder what? 8. So the 8 I have gotten, that is what I'm writing here. Then I'll keep my 1. Now 2 times 10 again is 20. Okay, 20 plus my this 1 will give me what? 21. So 21 divided by 12 gives me what? 1, remainder what? 9. Remainder 9. So I'll write my 9 here and still keep my 1. What is 2 times this? 2 times 11 gives me what? What is 2 times 11? 2 times 11 gives me 22. 22. Remember, I still have 1 here. So 22 plus 1 gives me what? 23. Then I will have to divide by the base, which is 12. So when 12 divides this, how many times? So we know that it will also divide this 1, remainder what? 11. Yes, remainder 11. So when you divide 23 by 12, this 1, remainder 11. So I'm going to write the 11 here. But what did I say? In the case of writing here, as for the remainder, you see that I'm writing this here. But when I'm coming here, I don't have to write the 1, this 1 here. I have to write the 8th letter so that you don't get confused. Because if I should write 1, you may think that it is not 11, but it's 1198. But when I write E, you know that, oh, this is 11. Okay, so I write my 11 here and keep the 1. Okay, now 2 times 5 gives me what? 10 plus my 1, which is 11 again. So the 11, I will still have to write the E code. So it means that this is my answer. 11, 11, 9, 8 base what? 12. You see how we do it, especially when letters are given. Okay, most of the time students get confused when letters are given. Okay, but when letters are given, the same principle what applies here. So it's not all that difficult that you need to be confused. Okay, all right. So we'll end here and continue in our next video. Now, in our next video, we are going to also look at how we can divide. Okay, so we are dealing with the 4 basic operation of mathematics. Okay, yes, we are dealing with the 4 basic operations of mathematics. So we are left with division. That's what we'll be doing in our next video. Now, I'm your facilitator, Evans Okan, and the name of the channel is Masbris TV. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, share the videos, and like the videos. Thank you.